Good evening. Welcome to Love Talk. My name is Gregory Morgan. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching my show. It's a pleasure to be a part of your life and to be somebody who can participate in your ongoing growth and development. The name of the show is Love Talk, and Love Talk is about really what is driving our human behavior. I believe that love is really all there is. And I know that you've heard that and you've seen it on posters and you've heard it in Beatles songs and so forth, that love is really all there is. But what if you took it on like living as if that were the truth? In other words, if you took on living like, I live in a world of love, I am made of love, the overriding vibration that is dominating, if you will, that is ruling, that is permeating every part of the universe, including my body and every cell and molecule in it, is actually a manifestation of a loving consciousness, a self-aware entity, if you will, that is breathing and living and exuding love. Now, is that the truth? Only if you say so. Only if you choose to remind yourself, only if you choose to live in a state of mind in which you include the possibility that regardless of what you're seeing, hearing all around you, regardless of the feelings that come bubbling up inside of you that are the opposite of love, regardless of all that, if you were able to include that, all of those mixed emotions, those feelings of sadness and upset and hurt and disappointment, those broken relationships, those fears, if you were able to include all of that in, this is what a loving universe looks like, this is what a loving universe feels like, that everything that is happening inside of my life, inside of my universe, inside of my world, inside of my relationships, is for my greatest good, it is for my learning and development and growth, it is through these experiences that I grow and that I receive the gifts that I need, personally, me and you, in your world you, in my world me, that I receive the gifts that this great universe is offering me. It is through my trials and errors and my challenges and my mistakes that I learn and that I grow. If indeed you were able to make the leap in consciousness and in faith and in behavior to begin to live your life, coming from that I am loved, I am love, and I am loved. If you could say to yourself, I am loved and I am love, then you would not have to go around trying to get some love. You wouldn't have to go around trying to prove that you're loved. You wouldn't have to go around trying to prove to anybody that you love them. You could simply live in that world and actually begin to notice that the occurrences, the things, the experiences that happen in your world, the happenings that happen in your world, are literally responding to that vibration, that intention, that belief, if you will, that you are projecting out into the world. Now, I'm actually going to talk about today exactly how we do that. If you're ready, then we're going to jump right into that in a little bit here. I'm here to answer questions and take your calls and work with you on your relationship issues and the things that, the questions that you may have regarding your relationships. And then the other number that appears that says office, that's our office if you wanted to contact us and make an appointment with either myself or my wife about our private sessions or find out about our seminars and workshops. I'm telling you a little bit about Embrace Growth. In order to reach the maximum number of people, in order to share the message of Embrace Growth, we have designed a number of items, a number of products, first of all, that are very, very accessible, very easy to get, very affordable, inexpensive, and I believe that that's a good way to start if you're on the path of self-discovery, of self-growth. Then you might want to visit Embrace Growth, because it's all about embracing those challenges that have perhaps stopped you. Each of us have had challenges, places in our life where we've gotten stopped, or where we've had a certain amount of resistance, or we feel like we're having the same problem over and over and over and over again, or we're having the same relationships issues that never seem to go away. We may have, some of us have experienced being married 2 or 3 times, and you still can't get it right. And that is normal given the society that we're living in now, given the times that we're living in. It's actually normal to not have developed the ability to face challenges, personal challenges of a psychological nature, personal challenges of a spiritual nature, personal challenges of a emotional and physical nature. It's normal to face those challenges, and it's also normal to face those challenges and not have the tools to deal with them appropriately, to not know how to turn those challenges that seem to be overwhelming or seem to be greater or bigger than we are into something that's actually a breakthrough, something that's actually sends you to the next level of your awareness, of your consciousness. You see, it's normal to have challenges in life. Probably more a sign of our times than the nature of humanity is that one of the signs of our times is that we have grown up. If you're watching this show and you've been born in the last 40 or 50 or even 60 years, then you have grown up inside of a culture whose dominant thought, one of the dominant thoughts, is that the past creates the future. That the past, my past, the past of my culture, the past of my family, the past of my religion or my gender, you know, the past of men or the past of women, the past of my race, whether I'm Iranian or American or Jewish or black or Hispanic, that the past of my culture gives me who I am today, and therefore gives me the future that I expect to live into. That has been a dominant thought. First and foremost, that's a myth, and I'm going to talk about that today, so that I'm going to actually begin to untangle that myth and point to an entirely new way, an entirely new paradigm that is given by our current day quantum physics, rather than the Newtonian idea that is over 500 years old, that the world is a mechanistic timeline, and that the past gives us the present and the future. So I'm going to begin to untangle that myth today, but I want to complete speaking a little bit about Embrace Growth. At Embrace Growth, we propose that you embrace those challenges, because that is the key. If you avoid the challenges in your life, if you take a pill to overcome your challenges, if you take a medication or you get involved in an addiction, most of addictions are an attempt to overcome a challenge or to make yourself feel better because you feel bad that you're challenged about something. A challenge is so that you can grow and develop, so that you can become a more refined, a more sophisticated, and a more complex and at the same time simplified human being. Now, how do you become more complex and more simplified? I have one of those cars that has a whole lot of things that are electronic in it, and so even though it's extremely complex, like I don't understand it at all, and you need a computer to read what's going on in that thing, it has made my life very simple. It does things that I don't even have to think about because the machinery is doing it. So that's what I mean. We become a more complex human being as we developed new and more sophisticated technologies, new and more sophisticated neurological connections within our own mind, body, spirit, and emotions. that we're able to pick up on signals, just like my car can pick up on a signal. If I'm parking, it tells me I'm getting too close to something. You know, if one of the tires get low, it tells me that the tire's low. If I'm running out of gas, I'm running out of gas. So it tells me what temperature it is outside, so forth. So like that, to use that metaphor, human beings have become more sophisticated. We are far more sophisticated than we used to be, and our modern brain is able to sense and pick up a lot of more data and information than a more primitive brain and a more primitive nervous system. So while we have become more complex and more sophisticated neurologically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and physically, we have developed a type of neurosis that is trying to get involved with understanding it all, where in fact we could become much more simplified in our way of living, in our way of life. What I proposed to you in the very beginning of the show was, what if you were able to hold a single thought, and that single thought simply is that I am love and I am loved. To a lot of people that may sound like a woo-woo spiritual concept. I'm telling you that it's possible to live that life. It's possible to live coming from that I am love and I am loved. And then have your interactions with the people and the things and the circumstances and situations in your life be a reflection of that. So at Embrace Growth, we've designed seminars, workshops, products, these TV shows, my show, and then my wife's show, Doña Yeyesh. And we've designed a number of methods for you to be able to get this information and apply it into your own life. We've also got some books and CDs and DVDs, and you can find out all about those on Embrace Growth at embracegrowth.com. And you can also call into our office. What we're focusing on a lot these days, mostly, is our workshops. And we do workshops for men, and we do workshops for women. They're actually already developed. We're developing the men and women so that they can understand this workshop, so that they can get the benefit of this workshop. But we have a workshop that we've been creating for some time, and it is for couples. It is for both men and women. We believe that it is necessary and also possible for people, once they have graduated from the women-only workshop and from my workshop for men called Honor, Integrity, and Mastery. So the phone lines are ringing. I'm going to go ahead and take some calls, and then later I want to talk about how we actually create our future. Hello, this is Gregory. You're live on the air.
Hi, Mr. Morgan. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you.
Good. I have a question to ask you. I've met a gentleman who is more of a friend than anything, because I met him through friends, and he's mentioned that he's interested in me and he'd like to get to know me, but he's been divorced once.
Yeah.
He's in his mid-30s, and he shows more like he's interested, but he acts or talks different. His words are different than his actions, and I'm getting confused. So I'm trying to see how I can deal with this. Like, he mentions that he likes to get to know me. He has introduced me to his mother, but in front of other people. It wasn't just us alone. And like, he hugs me and kisses me in front of friends, but then at the same time, he says that he's not sure, he needs time and all that. And I feel like I might be starting to get hurt, and I can't put myself through that. So I wanted to get your opinion and see what you think.
Well, let me ask you a few questions about time.
Sure.
How long was he married?
I believe he was married. He was in that relationship for about 5-6 years, but I think he was only married for about 2 years.
And how long has he been divorced?
About a year or so.
Okay, so when he's telling you that he's interested in you, I believe that that's true if he's showing if he's having you meet his parents and so forth.
Yes.
And
I feel it, and I notice it for sure. You're right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably an authentic feeling, and that he says that he needs some time. That's also accurate.
Okay.
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 You can understand that it may be possible to meet somebody, be totally want to have a relationship with them, and know that you're not ready.
Right.
Right? Can you see how that's possible?
Yes.
Right? Yes. There's a lot of things that I would like to do, but I'm just not ready. And so I go about, if I'm really committed to them, then I go about the business of getting myself ready.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
I go about the business of getting myself ready so that I can do those things and do them right. Because I can tell you something, getting married is one thing, getting divorced is really something else. It's not,
Yes.
it's not pretty. I don't care how nice the people are. Getting divorced is an ugly thing to have happen in your life, and it doesn't feel good.
Right.
And it doesn't feel good for a long time. What is kind of predictable statistically is if a man or a woman, but men are more likely to do this, gets into a relationship too soon after a divorce, that then that relationship doesn't work out.
Right.
You know, in other words, and as a man, I can say I've been there. I've been divorced, and I've had that happen. You see, I can tell you that from the inside, from my own experience and point of view, I can tell. I'll share with you. I mean, this happened with my wife, Dr. Azita Sayan. I met her. I knew she was the one, and I'd only, you know, I just got divorced.
Right.
And I was going crazy because I knew that if I married her then at that time that I would just mess it up because I was emotionally not 100% myself yet. See, when a man marries, and this happens with a woman, but you are much more elastic, if you will. Women are much more pliable, so you get broken, but you sort of mend yourself and get yourself back together a lot better than men do. Men are a little more rigid emotionally, and when they get broken, something gets broken in us, it can stay broken for a long time, and we'll just we'll, what they say, suck it up, swallow it, you know, move on.
Yeah.
But still, we're carrying something inside that's not right yet. Yeah,
Right.
and
Like I really truly care about him because, as I said, he's a friend more than anything to me, and I totally understand what he's. I mean, I've never been divorced. I've had a bad relationship. I've gone through breakups, and I don't want him to. I really feel for him. I really feel his hurt, and I don't want him to go through this. But at the same time, I don't want to get hurt myself. Like, I totally understand, and I honestly don't want to go through. I don't want to push him, and I don't want to have a relationship that starts like that. I don't want to be a rebound, basically.
Yeah, don't push.
But at the same time, I sort of feel like I want to know where I stand because I see how he shows me that he cares, but then his words change sometimes, and it's just very confusing. So I know that I have to give him that time.
Yes.
I just don't, like, he has mentioned to a friend that I've heard him say that she is ready for something else and she wants something more. But honestly, I have to, like, one thing I know is I definitely have to get to know him before I actually say that he's the one, because I don't know him to that extent. But at the same time, is that okay, or is that right for me to say that I know what I want and I don't want to waste my time on someone that just doesn't know what he wants? Is that...
Well, I think that would be a short-sighted thing to say. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay, you're at a time in your life where it would be appropriate to begin to find a mate for your life. Yes?
Right.
Do you have feelings for this man?
I do.
Okay, and he obviously says he has feelings for you, and I'm sure he does. Here's the thing. I could tell you exactly what to say. I don't know if I don't know if you can live it though. See, it's not.
Okay, no.
If you say this and it's not true for you, then you'll make a bigger mess. You see, so this would have to come from you, and so you just can try this on and see if this is something that you could live, not just say. Do you hear the difference? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be appropriate to say, I have feelings for you, because that's true, yes?
Yes.
I have feelings for you, and I care about you, and I would like for us to have a relationship that works.
Right.
That's all true. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm not in a hurry. Now, if you are in a hurry, don't lie about it, right?
Okay, no, I'm not. I
but
want to give him that time.
I'm not in a hurry, and I know that you've been married. You've been with this woman for 5 years. Now, here's the insight I'm going to tell you. When you've been with one person for 5 years, your entire molecules have changed. You are not the same human being as you were before. First of all, they've all changed. Even if you were just by yourself, all your molecules change, right? Every 7 years, you got a whole brand new body. But 5 years breathing the same air, hearing their voice every day, smelling them every day, touching their skin, or seeing them walk across the room, or hearing the footsteps on the floor, or the sound of their voice, knowing what they like to eat and they don't like. All of that stuff becomes integrated into the central nervous system of a human being, and you are no longer just you, you are us. Okay? You switch from being me and you to being us. And so when you pull that apart, it's like having part of your guts taken out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
You don't just get over that and say, okay, well, I'll just get another girl, right?
Yes.
You just don't get over that like that. It takes a while for your central nervous system to sort of reestablish its own equilibrium, to become mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually in balance with yourself, and to become whole as a human being. And from that wholeness, take that to another person and say, here I am, whole, complete, and in integrity with myself as a man, and I would like to share my life with you. Would you like to do that? You see what I'm saying? That's an entirely different place to be. And I have made this journey from the first condition that I was telling you about to that other condition where I could stand on my own and say, you know what? If you marry me, you do. If you don't, you don't, because I'm whole and complete by myself. I am a man who has all of my stuff together, and I'd like to share it with you. That's different. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, as a woman, you deserve nothing less than 100% of his time, energy, money, sexuality, and attention. You deserve that. If you're going to give him your 100% of your love and attention and sensuality and beauty and the honor and pleasure of having you as his wife, then that's a great honor that a woman bestows upon a man, and she deserves to have 100% of his attention right back, you see.
Exactly.
Now, if part of him is kind of lame and limping along and trying to get it together and covering up the fact that he's kind of lame and trying to get it together, right? Or maybe he doesn't even know himself that he's still kind of wounded inside, that he deserves to have the time to reconstruct himself as a man, to reconstruct he's just lost half his business and his house and his money and everything, right? And if there's kids involved, now he's got, for the rest of his life, has he got kids?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. I mean, it really is. Because, so we won't even have to go there. But, well, no, because when they have kids, then they're connected to that woman for the rest of their life, forever.
For sure, definitely.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
On every level possible that you can think of, you know, they're connected and will always be. So that's good. He has the opportunity now to reconstruct himself, and he owes it to himself and to the world and to you, the woman that he's interested in. So men go through stages, and one of the stages that they go through is becoming a man, and it takes some men 40 years. Okay. Sometimes it takes a man 40 years to become a man. It depends on who is their mentor and how quickly they want to grow and develop and become a man. Just because he's 30 years old doesn't mean he's complete in his manhood. Do you see?
Right.
He might have married this woman if he's, how old is he? 30 what?
36.
Okay, so he married this woman when he was around 31 years old. He was mature. As an organism, right? Yeah. But we don't know how emotionally mature he was in terms of his relationship with his mother and women in general and other men. Does he have other men, companions that hold him accountable to being his masculine self and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And that is very, very missing in our society, by the way. Men used to be brought up by fathers who, you know, taught them how to be a man. taught them how to be accountable, taught them how to honor their word, taught them how to stand up for something, taught them how to protect and honor women and children and society, and how to be a contribution to the world. You see, that's not happening anymore.
Right.
That hasn't happened for years. Now, I'm not saying nobody has. Obviously, I've seen good families and where that's happening today, but for the most part, in our society, that's not happening. And so a man is left to his own devices, if you will, to find other men and mentors that will support him in becoming the man that he wants to be, not the man that his mother wished he was, or his society said he should be, or his religion said he should be, but the man he truly is, that he wants to be.
Right.
That is a man who is self-authorized. In other words, he's writing his own book. He's writing his own story. He doesn't need to ask anybody, you know, what should I do? He may have mentors and advisors that are a number of them. You know, I have a number of mentors, advisors, and coaches that I can call upon for different aspects of my life, you know, and I am a mentor and advisor to hundreds of other people. So it's important to be led and to provide leadership, and that's part of being a man. Right. Now, if he's not in any kind of thing like that, it could take him 2 or 3 years, okay? Right. If he is in some kind of a self-growth, self-development type program, and you know, like we provided Embrace Growth, or we're not the only ones that provide these kind of programs, but I truly believe from my heart of hearts that we provide the very best of that. And if he's not involved in some kind of a self-growth or self-development, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with him. If he gets involved in a self-growth program, that's normal. I'm still involved in self-growth courses and classes. I'm taking a seminar on Wednesday night. I'm constantly involved in self-growth programs. So it doesn't mean you're broken. It means that you want to get better at what you're already good at, you see. And so he wants to get better at being a man. He should get involved with something like that, so that he can accelerate this process, because the work that we do, people grow what would normally take them maybe decades, or maybe they would never get there in their entire life, and cause several divorces before it's over. But they get to where they got to be in a weekend, in a few days, because of the intense work that we do.
I've been to the WOW workshop myself, and it's absolutely amazing. I can't wait for the advanced one coming up soon. But I've actually mentioned the hymn that was happening, I think it was last month, or was it in May? It was in April or May. That was happening in LA. I actually mentioned it to him, and I told him you should go, but he shut it down right away. Apparently he had heard about something like that before, and he mentioned that he just doesn't want to do it. But if I do get involved with him, he will definitely be going to the hymn workshop for sure. So, well,
you know, this is the part where I go, ha ha ha, my evil plan is working. We knew that if we wanted to have men be interested in personal growth and self-development, that the best way to do that was to give this work to hundreds and hundreds of women, and those women would become so dazzling, so lovable, so adorable, so gorgeous, so sexy, so interesting, that the men would go, what do I got to do to be with her?
Yes.
And then we provided the men's workshop so they would have a place to go to be able to be qualified to be with a woman of your stature and your level of self-growth. If you've been to one of our women-only workshop, then you're a queen and you deserve a king.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, you know, he may be trying to be a king, and he may be great king material, but he may just need to complete some things from the past. As you know, we do in our workshops. You complete that so that it doesn't, it's not an issue anymore. It's just done. It's in the past where it belongs. And then you create a whole new future, a whole new life full of possibility, and naturally, just naturally, you want to share it with someone. You just want to share it. You want to find somebody to love.
Exactly.
Yeah, and give that beautiful gift to. So you're in the right direction. I would just tell him, look, I care too much about you to have this get messed up. I really would love it to work, and you have all the time you need to go through your personal growth and development, and this workshop that's happening over here is a way to accelerate that, guaranteed. I promise you, and I promise him, and I promise everybody that comes to our workshop, you will get what you came here for.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely. I know that.
Yeah. He'll get what he came for, and I'll see to that. I will give 500% to make sure that that happens, and so far I've never had anybody say, oh, well, you know, it was okay, it didn't really work. I've never had anyone say that. Everybody is, you know, if I read you the reviews that we got, we pass out a survey, as you know, at the end of our workshops.
Yeah.
And we say, you know, anonymously, that people don't say who they are, just tell us what your experience was like. Did this work for you? Did this handle what you came here to address? And it's always off the charts what they have to say. Yes, that, and more. And so I guarantee that, you know, it'll work on him too.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm definitely going to see if I can work on him and have him come to the workshop for sure. But thank you very much for the advice.
Okay.
Very helpful. I hope I get to see you, and if I do, I will definitely come and introduce myself.
Please do. Yes, please do. That'd be great. I'd be honored.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Good day.
You have a great day.
I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how it is that we create our future, how we create our future in relationships, in particular, because this particular show, Love Talk, is devoted to what works with men and women in relationships. So most of the people that are watching the show are here. If you are a human being, you're in a relationship. You're in multiple relationships. You've been in relationships since the beginning of your life. Your first relationship was with your caregivers, with your mother and your father. And that set up and conditioned the way that you would relate to people in later parts of your life. However, you're not stuck with that. You know, you may have had great parents. You may have had awful parents. However you learn to relate to your mother and your father later set the model for how you related to your sisters and your brothers, and then your friends and cousins, and then your bosses and workers and co-workers and employees, and then the ultimate relationship, the erotic relationship, the opposite sex relationship involving sexuality and intense emotional connection on a physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional levels, all levels simultaneously. When you merge consciously your energy with another human being, it is possible to fall into a kind of illusion that then later, as the illusion dispels and reality begins to show up, we say we fell in love, and then we say we fell out of love, or that the love went away. Because it was a projection, like a movie projected onto a screen, our mind has the ability to project future realities and then live into those realities as if they were reality. And sometimes those realities are based upon illusionary or childlike magical thinking. You see, there's a time in our personal development and the development of the brain and development of ourselves from child to adolescent to from infant to child to adolescent to adult, that we go through a period, let's just call it magical thinking. We imagine that there's a monster under the bed, or we imagine that because this happened, that's why this happened. You see, I talked back to my mother and that's why she wrecked her car. Any number of things like that. So we make connections that may or may not be there. They're not necessarily true. In other words, a sort of magical thinking. At that time in our life, it's very common for many children to have an imaginary playmate, for example, a sort of guardian or other personality that is there with us, that protects us or guides us or plays with us, that is, we call them an imaginary friend. Now I'm going to say some more about that imaginary friend in just a minute, but I want to mark that point so that you begin to anchor that it is in this moment of the magical thinking that that is a part of our development that we sometimes carry forward into our adult life, and we see a person, they have the right look, the right smell, they wear the right clothes, they walk just like that, they look like that. When they come around, I have these feelings. Therefore, I must be in love. And so we project onto this human being that has all their flaws and their imperfections and their own baggage from the past and their own emotional hang-ups and challenges. And we project onto them an aura, if you will, of perfection. Like they can do no wrong. You know, they say love is blind. So we'll project this perfection onto this other human being, and we'll fall in love with them. And probably the worst thing you could do at that moment is to also get married to them and buy a house and have a baby. That might be about the worst thing that you could do with this person that you're magically in love with. I propose that you give it a year or two and that you begin to see them as a real human being. And if you're in love with the human being that's underneath what you have projected, if you can find that you can communicate, if you find that you have chemistry, like the sexuality is still there, it's really good, you look forward to it and it turns you on, and the communication is there, and that you're compatible. Those are the three things that I propose that you must have, really, to have a long-term committed relationship, like one that lasts for a lifetime, is you must be able to communicate really well. You need to be able to talk about those things that may be difficult to talk about with other people, but with this person, you're so connected, and the intimacy is at such a level that you could say, you know, like I advised my last caller, you know, I really care about you. I really have feelings for you, and I would love for this to work. And I noticed that you have this thing going on, and it may take some time for you to heal. And even though I would love for it to go faster, I'm not in a hurry. I can wait, because it's more important in the long run that you be whole and complete. You see what I'm talking about? This kind of communication is very intimate communication. It's whole, honest, and complete communication. And I believe that is absolute necessity for having a long-term committed relationship. Without that, you could have all the chemistry in the world, the sex could be great, but if you don't have intimate communication, like profound communication, whole, honest, and complete communication, then it's just a question of time that that relationship will come to an end. The third thing, so I said communication, chemistry, and the third one's a C also, so it's easy to remember. Compatibility. You must be compatible. And if you look compatibility up in the dictionary, it will say something like this: two different things. I have a right hand and a left hand, right? They're different. Two different things working together in a harmonious fashion. Working together in a harmonious fashion with no change or alteration required. In other words, I don't have to change my right hand or my left hand in order for them to work together in a harmonious fashion. They can work together, and I don't have to change either one of them. I can leave this one being exactly like it is, and this can be exactly like it is. The man can stay just like he is. He doesn't have to change or alter or be somebody different. And she gets to stay exactly like she is, and she doesn't have to change or alter or be different. Now, does that mean that they are perfect already? Well, yes, in a very real sense, they actually are. Does it mean that they won't grow? No, of course they will grow and develop and change, but they will do it together and in a harmonious fashion, hopefully. If you're in a long-term committed relationship or any kind of relationship with another human being, you're going to have issues. So you might as well get used to that idea. If you're going to be in a relationship that involves sexuality, love, real estate, children, religion, family, geography, and every other kind of possible thing that you can think of, in other words, your life, then you are going to have conflicts. That's normal. You're going to have conflicts, you're going to have issues, you're going to have problems, you're going to have stuff where you get stopped and you can't move forward. You're going to have times when you're frustrated, angry, fearful, doubtful. You're going to have times when you feel betrayed. All of that stuff is going to happen inside of a relationship. Now, that's not bad news. It may sound like bad news. If your life is all about never being uncomfortable and always being everything's easy, then yes, that's bad news for you. And unfortunately, the way we've raised our children and the way many of us have been raised, I was not raised that way, but the way many people have grown up, and in the society, we have grown up with the illusion that it should be easy, you know, it should be difficult. If it doesn't work out, I'll get a divorce, you know. Never mind that I have 3 kids, you know. Never mind that it'll ruin their life and that they, in turn, will be almost certain to get a divorce later on because that's what they learned from their parents. If it doesn't work out, I just get a divorce. It's not important. We live in a world where being challenged is not considered a good idea. I'm telling you that being challenged causes growth and development. That's why we call the company Embrace Growth, and that's why we do workshops. What is work? Work is a challenge. Work is difficult. Work is uncomfortable. You know, maybe it's not the best sales pitch in the world, but if you come into one of our workshops, you will get uncomfortable. You will experience emotions that you don't normally sit and examine. You will be asked to look at things that you wouldn't normally be asked to look at. You will be asked to press through things that you wouldn't normally challenge. You know, it's easier to go watch TV or have a beer or surf the internet or play a video game or read a book. Most people won't take the time to sit down with some other people who are doing the same thing, with somebody, a coach or a mentor who has been through this themselves and who has guided other people through these processes, who has a very specific timeline and sequence and order of events to place these challenges so that you will have the absolute best chance, in fact, almost a certainty, that you will overcome these challenges one by one, that you will clear these cluttered up parts of your past and your subconscious mind that are interfering with your behavior patterns and your life and your emotions, that you will actually complete those things, put them in the past, clear the slate so that you will, and begin to generate and create from your own vast personal resources. You have vast personal resources that most of you have never even touched, that you don't even know are there, and they're just waiting to come through. And most of our conditioning, which comes from the Judeo-Christian and Muslim religious consciousness, which glorifies strife and stress. Most of these religions glorify difficulty, martyrdom, stress, and even have institutionalized it to a certain extent, so that there is a belief that without pain you don't deserve, if you will, to have the honor and the presence and the pleasure, heaven or God or paradise. And so those have been so encrusted into our nervous system that we've been raised by people who have these same beliefs, that we have taken on believing and living in a way that actually engenders, by engender I mean causes or creates or projects into the future more strife, more challenges, more dysfunction, more pain, more suffering, and more disability, because there is this subconscious belief in the background that that is the path to happiness. I hope that when I say that, you can hear just how absurd that idea is. I hope that when I say that, you can like really let it get into your bones that the path to happiness is not through suffering. The path to happiness is through happiness. The path to fulfillment is through fulfilling yourself. The path to being fully self-expressed is through expressing yourself. The path to love and being loved is through loving. The path to being connected and belonging is through getting connected, you know? Communicating and being connected with other human beings and belonging, causing and generating and creating your own belonging in the world. You belong here or you wouldn't be here. It's impossible to be here in this world if you didn't belong here. Think about it. I spent most of my life thinking I didn't belong here, okay? I spent a large portion of my life suffering and feeling uncomfortable around people and crowds and terribly shy. I know it's hard to believe, but I used to be very, very, very shy. I'd go stand in the corner over at a party and hope nobody came and talked to me. because I didn't know what to say. I was so shy. Now you can't shut me up, but because I was shy for so long maybe. But I felt that I didn't belong. If I went to a party, I didn't feel like I belonged there. If I went to another town, I didn't feel like I belonged there. If I went to another school, I didn't belong there. If I went to a different church or religion or something, I didn't belong there either. So I never felt that I belonged. And so I spent a whole, and I know that I'm saying this for the benefit of many of you who must be watching this show thinking, God, I have that same thing. It is a function of the way that we are raised and the way in the society that we're in to have a sense that I don't belong here. Now maybe you grew up in a family where they really made you feel like you belonged and very comfortable, and so if that's the case for you, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the others who walk around feeling like they don't quite belong someplace. That's a normal functionment of growing up. In any event, I want to talk about how the Newtonian, okay, if you don't know who Newtonian, when I say Newtonian, I'm talking about Sir Isaac Newton, 500 years ago, okay, forth a thesis that changed the way people think. And the thesis has been the basis of much of our cosmology. And much of our cosmology, meaning the way we think and the way we socialize and categorize and think about ourselves as human beings. And it basically was a mechanistic point of view that proposed that there was that time was like in a line. Now, if I say timeline, most human beings have an image or an inner picture of a line of time. For some of you, it's passing from the left to the right, or the right to the left, or it's going from behind you to the front of you, or from below you up through the top of you. So take a look right now and see where your timeline is, because everybody has an image of some kind of timeline when I say the word timeline. And it put forth that the past is in the past somewhere. I pointed to the past because mine's the past for me. And that the future's out there ahead. And that because of the past, in other words, that the past is giving me or pointing me in the direction of my future. That explained a lot of things for a lot of people, and so much of our modern day psychology, our medical science, and many of the scientific theses of today, 500 years later, are still operating out of this paradigm, which is it's a paradigm that explains maybe a fraction of our universe. I'm not going to say it's not a truth, because in certain realms there is a truism that time, it explains a tiny bit of what we're about. Modern quantum physics holds that the future is created in our present, not in our past. In other words, you are now living right this moment the future that you had projected all along, that you've been projecting all along. And if you want to see what your future looks like, look at your present. Your present moment, your here and now, is a mini preview. You know, like when you see a film and you see a little preview of what it's going to be like? Your present life is a preview, or a little mini snapshot, if you will, or movie, of what your future is heading towards. Now, how do we do that? This is the part that I wanted to begin to discuss with you today, because we do this in our relationships, and it takes a certain amount of undoing, you see. The frontal lobe, our frontal lobe, is the most recently developed part of our brain. It is the most recently developed part of our human mind. And I believe that it is primarily what separates us from animals is our ability for foresight. In other words, to look out into the future, predict what is going to happen, and respond to it right now, even though it hasn't happened yet. That is a trick of consciousness that human beings have. There's no evidence that any other animals have that. They may or may not, but if they do, they're not talking. We also have the ability to speak and communicate our ideas. We have the ability to become aware of ourselves being aware. And we are able to look out into the future and bring that future into our present moment. This is a function of a double wave of energy that I'm going to, I'm not going to go too far into it, because it's very scientific as far as that's concerned. If those of you who are interested in this, great, you can write to me about it, or you can call in and I'll answer your questions or whatever. But basically, when we know that all thoughts and all emotions, especially a thought that is backed up by a powerful emotion, such as a belief or a strong either positive or negative emotion, if you imagine the future like being a clear pond or lake, it is like throwing a pebble into the lake and it causes ripples, okay? Now, if it's a big, powerful emotion or a big, powerful thought and a big, powerful, sharp, strong, consistent wave, stone, we throw it into the water, it makes a big wave. If they're sort of weak, like little pebbles, then they also cause waves or ripples, if you will, that affect you in the here and now. The stronger the emotion, the belief, and the thought, the more powerfully it reverberates out into the future and comes back to you. Your present moment, your here and now, is a reflection of the there and then, the future, that you have been projecting, not the past. Your here and now is not a reflection of the past, or it's not even a product of the past. It is a reflection, an echo wave coming back to you from the future that you've always been creating out ahead of yourself. Where people get messed up is they go reach back into the past, look at, well, this is how I've been, this is where I've come from, this is my religion, this is what my mother said, this is the kind of body I have, this is the past that I've been given or that I've lived. Therefore, the future will look like more or better or different or worse of my past. That, I'm trying to tell you here and now, is not necessarily true. You have the ability here and now in your present moment to begin to shift the way you think, the way you feel, the way you believe, and what you are projecting and continue to project out into the future. Your positive thoughts and feelings and emotions are at least 10 times stronger than any negative feeling or emotion that you can fabricate. Your negative feelings and emotions are perhaps a record of where you've been. Every cell in your body, every single cell in your body, and there's billions of them, has a double-strand helix of DNA. And your DNA is a record of your body and what it is becoming. You know, that you have brown eyes, or that you have eyebrows here instead of having one over here, or that your nose is in the middle of your face instead of on your shoulder, and all that. That's a record of your DNA. Your DNA has determined that, and it determines that it'll probably stay there. You see what I mean? It's determining who you are becoming. Now, the DNA is wrapped together with the RNA. The DNA, if it's a record of who you are becoming, what you are becoming, your RNA is a record of what you have been. So the future is being projected constantly against the background of your past. It's a record of where you've been. Your RNA is a record of where you've been. It's not like you have amnesia. Of course, you remember certain things. You remember what's happened to your past. You remember certain things, and they've had an influence on you one way or the other. But it is where you're at right now that you, and only right now really, that you have the ability to project out into your future a fulfilling, enlightening, joyous, satisfying, energetic future. You can do that here and now. And the work that I do with you in our workshops and in our private sessions and in our books and CDs and DVDs is designed to prepare you to begin to get the idea and to begin to live like your life is happening now, and now, right now, in the here and now is the only time that you'll ever have for creating the future that you want to live into. My entire life, everything from how my body is to meaning my state of health and well-being, and even how I look and feel, to my where I live, the woman I'm married to, my career, where I'm going, what I'm doing, what I'm saying, has all been designed at some point in the past. I consciously began to project and design and create my life many years ago. And now I'm actually living the future that I imagined decades ago, And it's actually turned out much better than I imagined, because I lacked imagination back then. Now I have a better imagination, and I'm able to create an even better future out ahead of myself. And you can do that too. If I can do that, you can do that. And we can show you how at Embrace Growth. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be here with you today. I look forward to speaking to you 1 week from now on Love Talk.
Dr. Sion's YouTube channel is the place to find quick, free, and timely answers to all of your relationship questions. If you like our content, click the like button on our videos and let us know what you think in the comment section below. Send us your questions through social media or by calling in during the show. Subscribe to get notifications about new videos and when we're streaming live. Join us during the week to watch our shows live. See the latest videos from Dr. Azita Sion and your favorite clips of Doña Yeshk. Visit us at youtube.com/DrAzitaSion.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند. چنین مردی باشید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان، تورنتو 21 تا 23 سپتامبر، همبورگ 19 تا 21 اکتبر، لس آنجلس 2 تا 4 نوامبر. همین امروز ثبت نام کنید و شاهد تحول زندگیتان باشید. در کارگاه‌های آموزشی بانوان به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان با دستیابی به اهمیت و ارزش واقعی خود، قدرت زنانگی و آرامش خود را بازیابید. محیطی مناسب و هیجان انگیز برای رشد و شکوفایی عشق، ازدواج و خانواده خلق کنید. زنی شاد باشید، قلب مردان را بشناسید و آنها را درک کنید. کارگاه آموزشی بانوان، ایروان 7 تا 9 فوریه مصادف با 18 تا 20 بهمن، همبورگ 26 تا 28 آپریل. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گروت تماس بگیرید. 310 460 2600. آنچه نوجوانان در کارگاه آموزشی امبریس گروت می آموزند، مسئولیت، بها و ارزش کلام و اعتبار است. با خلق شور و هیجان برای موفقیتی شرافتمندانه، آینده ای را بر بنیادی قوی از ارزش‌ها و ایدئال‌ها بنا می‌کنیم تا راهنمای آنان در زندگی باشند. کارگاه آموزشی نوجوانان در ایروان ارمنستان 6 و 7 آگوست مصادف با 15 و 16 مرداد. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گروت تماس بگیرید. 310 460 2600. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت. با ساختن اکانت شخصی شما می توانید وارد پروفایل خود شده و تنظیمات آن را تغییر دهید. به تمامی رویدادها و محصولات دسترسی داشته باشید. با چند کلیک برای سمینارها و کارگاه‌ها ثبت نام کنید و یا وقت مشاوره خود را رزرو نمایید. اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت را امروز از اپ استور دانلود کنید و به خانواده جهانی امبریس گروت بپیوندید.
Welcome to the all-new EmbraceGrowth.com. You'll have access to all the content you love at the click of a button. Videos of seminars, events, and the ability to sign up for workshops. Direct access to digital downloads right from your mobile devices. Stay in the know and see our latest graduate events. Watch your favorites anytime, anywhere. Visit us today at EmbraceGrowth.com.
A haven for the weary soul. A source of inspiration and community, redesigned to bring you meaningful experiences and unforgettable events. We are a worldwide community of vibrant individuals, displayed in the people who are a part of it, from many nations, backgrounds, and beliefs. Through powerful outreach programs, the struggles of everyday life are confronted and conquered, transforming those who participate into the best versions of themselves. One-on-one sessions are available to keep you headed in the right direction, coupled with the best resources to remind you how to live, whether at home or elsewhere. Programs designed for men, providing the building blocks of maturity, commitment, integrity, and leadership, paving the way for productive and fulfilling manhood. Beyond an understanding of masculine leadership is its application in daily life and development into something truly unique. Exclusive training for women, encouraging growth and empowerment through an acceptance of their true identities, redefining interactions, and changing the viewpoint through which life is seen. Embracing the woman within and accessing facets of your personality hidden beneath the surface. Showing our youth the value of integrity and reliability by creating an indwelling desire to succeed with honor, basing the future on a solid foundation of ideals that will guide them through life, leading by example, and showing others how to clearly convey their thoughts in a compelling way, creating a culture of mature leaders who can help others achieve self-confidence and their goals. Real people and real lives are changed for the better. With every event, more are touched and come to an understanding of their place in this world and their community. Embrace Growth is run by a passionate team and led by the diligence and inspiration of Dr. Azita Sayan and Mr. Gregory Morgan, who consistently teach life lessons based on what works, rather than the passing fads of the times.
یک مرد منحصر به فرد، مسلط، متمرکز، قابل اعتماد و رضایتمند. چنین مردی باشید. به ما در مسیر رسیدن به قلب مردانگی بپیوندید و خود برترتان را درون خود بیابید. کارگاه شرافت، عزت کلام و مهارت به رهبری دکتر آزیتا سایان، ایروان ارمنستان 9 تا 11 آگوست مصادف با 18 تا 20 مرداد، تورنتو 21 تا 23 سپتامبر، همبورگ 19 تا 21 اکتبر، لس آنجلس 2 تا 4 نوامبر. لطفاً جهت برخورداری از تخفیف ویژه برای کارگاه‌های خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان در ایروان ارمنستان با دفتر امبریس گرو تماس بگیرید. همین امروز ثبت نام کنید و شاهد تحول زندگیتان باشید. برنامه دنیای عشق با دکتر آزیتا سایان، برنامه‌ای که تمامی سوالهای شما را جواب می‌دهد. ازدواج، عشق، سکس، همجنسگرایی، فرزندان، والدین، خیانت. از یوتیوب لایو استریم، فیسبوک و اینستاگرام لایو. 3 شنبه‌ها و 5 شنبه‌ها 10 شب به وقت ایران و 10:30 صبح به وقت لس آنجلس. تلفن تماس با استودیو 818 532 66 55.
کانال یوتیوب دکتر آزیتا سایان جایی است که جواب تمامی سوالات خود را در مورد رابطه در سریع‌ترین و آسان‌ترین راه ممکن پیدا خواهید کرد. در صورت تمایل ویدیو را لایک و نظرات خود را در قسمت کامنت وارد کنید. سوالات خود را از طریق شبکه‌های اجتماعی و یا از طریق تماس تلفنی در طول برنامه زنده مطرح کنید و جواب بگیرید. در کانال یوتیوب ما سابسکرایب کنید و از آخرین ویدیوهای جدید و زمان پخش برنامه‌های زنده آگاه شوید. تازه ترین ویدیوهای دکتر آزیتا سایان و کلیپ های مورد علاقه تان از دنیای عشق را تماشا کنید. صفحه رسمی یوتیوب دکتر آزیتا سایان youtube.com/دکتر آزیتا سایان